Because you're a hypocrite.
No, here's the thing. I don't think those things work. Why? Because I actually live in those communities, homie. I watched that shit tear people down for decades. So you want more programs, more government programs that have been destroying the black community? That's what you're sitting here screaming at me about when I've watched it not work.
What is going on, everyone? This is Grant with Dialectically Challenged. I'm back here with another debate breakdown. I'm actually on vacation here at the Airbnb in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, but you know that won't stop me from grinding, so I'm here to bring you another breakdown of a really awesome debate. This is one I think you guys are really going to like. So have you ever asked yourselves the question, what happens when an insufferable white leftist meets their polar opposite, a black conservative? Well, you're about to find out in this breakdown of Brian Shapiro versus Siaka Massaquoi. So I'm not very familiar with Siaka Massaquoi, but I'm very familiar with Brian Shapiro. He is a ridiculous human being, just an absolute caricature of the modern left. And to be honest, I'm not even sure how he keeps getting these debates. I assume people just bring him on to be a heel. He does seem willing to do these debates, to his credit, but it goes to solidify my theory that he just has a humiliation kink and he's just getting his rocks off to doing this all for us. Disgusting. But before we get into it, guys, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and please share this debate with anybody you know or anybody who think would like this sort of content. We're a growing channel, so I really much appreciate it. All right, let's get into it.
And so the government is procedural. It does not care what you did or why you did it. They will just say, if we can find the crime, we're going to put you in prison for it. So we cannot live in a society that forces people to capitulate to the demands of surveillance or evidence gathering if you've done nothing wrong. The burden has to be on the other party.
I understand, and I know it's a liable case, and it's not a criminal case, and I get all that.
You cannot force a person to submit to your accusations against them.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying this is the argument presented.
Yeah. I understand, but
so when it comes
quickly.
Wait, real quick. So when it comes to Trump, that dress did not exist at the time of the allegations, and they were trying to use it to get a DNA sample against Trump. The most honorable thing Trump should and could do is deny and refuse to be submitted to a DNA test over an accusation that is dubious.
Quickly, the point that I was making earlier, let's just say for argument's sake, you're right. I don't agree. I actually do think it did happen. I'm telling you the truth. But let's just say for argument's sake it didn't, and E. Jean Carroll's a liar. I look at the man's history.
So you wanted to go down the line of
I look at the womanizing. I look at raw dogging a porn star.
Now let's pause real quick.
Paying her off $130,000, cheating on every woman he's ever been with, bragging about going into teenage girls' locker rooms pageant without their permission on the Howard.
So there is a reason why.
Room. We can pull up the video.
It was a room in a pageant that he ran.
It was a room in a pageant that he ran.
So you're allowed to go in there when they're half naked, and you're okay with that?
So of course, Brian busts right through the gate with a red herring and failing to answer the question. Tim's talking about procedural issues with policing and how Trump needed to stand up for his constitutional rights. And Brian basically pivots to his favorite, oh yeah? Well, Orange Man bad. Orange Man did this. Like, that's not what Tim's arguing about, dude. You'll notice this with Brian. Any chance he gets to go out and spout off and do his little moral grandstanding bit about Trump, he will jump at that chance. Even if it has nothing to do with what's being discussed, or even if it's just tangentially related. Like a 3-year-old shitting his pants, he just can't help himself. And while we're on the subject, Trump never said he was busting into teenage girls' locker rooms, let alone bragging about it. Trump was talking about going backstage at his beauty pageants that he owned, of course, but that was on the Howard Stern show. People would say salacious shit there just for a reaction all the time. That was what the Howard Stern show was. And Brian's old enough to know that, but he's slimy enough not to care.
And brag about it sexually on the Howard Stern show? You have kids, man.
You should actually pull up the clip because it's not how you put it together.
Are we laughing and joking about it?
Hold on. You're going to ask the question.
Okay, guys.
Why would I vote?
Wait. Are we I think any point made about the Howard Stern show is instantly just disqualifying.
There were 3 women that were interviewed that said that that's exactly what happened.
Howard
they were
Stern's
half naked
show,
and he walked in.
Okay, Howard Stern's show is intentionally meant to be lewd, lascivious, and antagonistic.
Gross.
And so people go on there and say the craziest things. I just say the Howard Stern show is
even before that, or even
like things done.
Well, the women that were interviewed, were they disqualifying when they actually
on the Howard Stern show? Yep.
No, they were not on the Howard Stern show.
No. I'm not talking about those interviews. That's
fine. Talking about that incident. If you want to throw away the Howard Stern show, that's one thing. But there are women that confirm that did happen.
That's fine.
Brian.
The argument we're having right now is you mentioned that Trump went on the Howard Stern show and said things. Bro, Howard Stern, what did he do? Like launch hot dogs at women's tits?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean
it's meant to be insane.
But it doesn't mean that what people say or is automatically untrue.
Jesus Christ, Ian, what are you doing with shades indoors? You are a fucking goofball.
And maybe
No, but it's not credible.
All right. What would you say about a guy who
this
says he
is my point.
doesn't respect somebody because they were captured in John
this is-
McCain? What'd you think about that statement?
I didn't really care to be.
You don't care.
I thought that was
Don't care.
didn't care.
This
Why?
is a guy who was
You know why?
5 years
You know
was a
why?
POW.
You know why?
He was tortured
Can I
for
tell you
5
why?
years,
Can I
and
tell
you're
you
telling
why?
me you don't
Can I
care?
tell you why? Because the things that I heard about what he was doing while he was tortured and how he had connections with the people
He didn't want to leave his people behind.
what he had connections with those running the camp and how he let other people go through worse situations.
The guy dodged the military 5 times, and you're okay with him shitting on someone who was a POW?
I didn't say I was okay with it. I said I don't care.
You don't care. Well, I do. No, people do.
Great.
There's a lot of people in the military that
can I tell you why I decided to vote for him over Kamala Harris or anyone else?
Does any of this stuff bother you at all?
Can I tell you? Can I tell you why?
I want to hear you, but
can I tell you why?
I know, but I just
because Trump is not my God. Trump is a part of policies.
And right there is the central breakdown to almost every Trump debate or pro-Trump versus anti-Trump discussion. One group talks about how horrible he is as a person, and the other one talks about the positive outcomes for his policies. It really comes down to what's more important. But personally, I think policies are more important. Like, look at it this way. Let's say your car's making a really funky clinking noise and you need to get it fixed. You go take it to the mechanic, and you have 2 options. You have one guy who's really nice and sweet, but he falls asleep on the job. He doesn't know where he is. He might have shit his pants at the Vatican. And the other guy is crass. He cusses. He whistles at the female employee working with him, but he fixes your car up damn good. Which one are you going to go to? Now, it's no secret that how Trump behaves and his decorum rubs people the wrong way. I get it, but I don't care. If his policies are a net benefit to the country, who cares? If Brian really wants to persuade Siaka that character matters more than policy, he has to work a little bit harder. He has to explain why character outweighs those policy outcomes and not just beg the question and assume that it does.
The left has killed more people that look like me in the womb than World War II.
How are his policies
working? Hold on. Then in the womb, his policies of pro-life actually helps. His policy, babies dying. Oh my God. 13% of the population actually sick, doing 40% of the killing of babies, bro. That's a big deal to me. The fact that I'm a Christian with kids and want my religions to be out there, that's why. So it's not just about Donald Trump, because I don't worship a man. We don't worship men. On the left, they worship Obama. They worshiped Biden, and then they tried to worship Kamala, but it wouldn't carry.
Let me respond.
You put up your whole thing. I'm going to tell you why over and over and over. I want less government in my life. Our biggest reason is because I lived for 4 years under Biden. Sid took my shit that was in my house without charging me. I couldn't fly, even to come on his show twice. I couldn't fly without people following me. That's why I didn't vote for them, even though you can go down the list of how Trump is this. They were coming after me. They were killing babies. They were promoting death in a community that needs help. They're not sitting there having the dumbest people in their public schools because they've been sitting there lying to them about everything's racist. And now everybody in California, in Chicago, where I'm from, in New York, all these people are dumb. We've lost generations of young men and young boys and young girls to this dumb thing. That's why I didn't vote for the left, and that's why I voted for Donald Trump.
I can raise my and I can.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, so
you do. Okay, this is passionate.
So let me respond.
And the fact that this guy, he's not my master. He's not my God. So it doesn't matter. It's working out. It's great.
May I respond?
Please go ahead.
Half the time that you just spurged out.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
For the minute and a half.
Whoa, spurg is a slur, bro.
I love it. I love that Brian learns these terms like spurging from stalking the Wilsons, and the second he drops it, Tim calls him on it. That's great.
Hold on a second. So first of all, let me start by saying this. Okay, you're anti-abortion. Okay, I don't call it pro-life. I call it anti-abortion. But if we're going to talk,
it's pro-life because they're killing life, bro. They're killing life.
5 seconds.
They're killing life. I don't play about that shit.
Finish?
I don't play about that shit. I lost a son myself.
Well, guess what?
So you know what?
Talk now. Guess what I don't play about?
Go ahead.
Taking health care away from millions of Americans. Taking food.
How are you taking it away?
For 5 seconds.
How are you taking health care away?
Are you going to stop interrupting me,
dude? Are you taking it away?
Wait, just let him finish.
Every other word you're interrupting me, bro.
Right now, because I'm tired of waiting.
Well, guess what? Stop talking and let me finish now. You can have your spurg out again about talking about abortion. That's fine. I disagree with you. They take away food stamps from from millions of Americans. He takes away health care from Americans.
Notice that Brian never actually stops to demonstrate or discuss how these programs do or don't create the outcomes they're designed to create. Instead, the argument is mostly people need food, people need health care, Thus, we need government program. That doesn't follow.
It seems to me very interesting that after the baby is born, he's against maternity leave. After the baby is born, you're against all these government programs that can help poor people.
I don't want bigger government. I don't care about that. I don't want bigger government.
You've made it very clear.
Yeah, so I don't care about that. So your point doesn't matter. You voted for the left.
I'll take my hat off too.
You voted for the left.
I'll take my hat off.
Good. We're both bald, but we have different views. The thing is, I don't care about those things because those are bigger government. At the end of the day, everything you're talking about is putting people to rely on them. It doesn't matter.
Wait. Okay, hold on.
No, because he started
He's
with,
got to finish.
how did you vote for this guy who I'm going to list? And I go, you know why? Because of these things.
Okay, brother.
You bring back up instances from the left. I'm like, I don't care about none of that.
He's got to be able to
But it
say.
doesn't matter from my point that I made based on you going, why'd you vote for him?
Dude, you got to let me finish. I've talked for like 10 seconds, dude, okay? There are a lot of government programs out there for talking about policy that Donald Trump has taken away from Americans. The biggest tax breaks for the top 1%. If you care about poor people and people that are living paycheck to paycheck, look at where the economy is at right now. He promised that he would lower all our prices on day one. By the way, this is pro-life, right? No, he didn't.
On day one, it did.
Let me finish.
On day one, it did.
From the time that he took office, are you going to?
Okay. I've got something I'm trying to say, but I can't until he finishes.
Yeah, please, 30 seconds if you want to talk about the economy, okay? Based on almost every metric, from the time Donald Trump took office to right now, inflation was up 0.6%. It's 4.2%. It was 3% when he took office. He said he was going to end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. All I have to do is pick up the phone. There are still people dying. The war is still going on in Ukraine. He said he was going to be a peace president. He said he wasn't going to start a war. How the fuck did that work out? Look at this mess in Iran right now in the Strait of Hormuz. It's open, it's closed, it's open, it's closed. So I want consistency from you. I will respect your opinion when it comes to abortion. We can have a decent conversation about abortion and what I think maybe we can do to work together. But if you care so much about that topic, you should all care about innocent people that are dying. They don't have access to health care. They don't have access to food stamps and government programs that can help these people live. So I want you to have that same passion after the baby is born, not just before the baby is born, because you're a hypocrite.
Brian starts off this section with a classical logical fallacy, begging the question. He doesn't actually demonstrate any hypocrisy here. He just assumes it. And in that assumption is a very common leftist tactic, where they will argue you're a hypocrite for supporting abortion, but then not supporting government programs that have nothing to do with abortion that I happen to like. The issue, though, is that they are narrowly defining support to mean taxpayer-funded government support. They completely ignore the charitable support through churches, community organizations, and things like that conservatives are strongly in favor of. In fact, according to polling data, conservatives are more generous and more charitable than liberals. But of course, that's not good enough for good old brain-dead Brian. In order to avoid being a hypocrite to him, you have to champion all sorts of social welfare programs. Otherwise, it doesn't count.
No, here's the thing. I don't think those things work. Why? Because I actually live in those communities, homie. I watched that shit tear people down for decades. So you want more programs, more government programs that have been destroying the black community? That's what you're sitting here screaming at me about? When I've watched it not work, the healthcare doesn't work for them like that. Yes, it does, dude. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What, the government run healthcare, number one, is inflated the price.
Take it away?
The
what are they supposed to do?
Who took it away? They didn't vote for the Obamacare. They didn't vote for it.
What's his healthcare plan?
Donald Trump did not take it away from
What's his healthcare plan?
Donald Trump did not take it away.
What is his replacement plan?
They didn't vote for it.
Can you tell me what his replacement plan is?
Ultimate replacement plan,
he
said it in his first debate back in 2016.
Where is it? Where's the plan? He hasn't presented it to anybody. Where's the plan?
So what do you want me to do? Go and get it for him?
No, I want you to admit that the guy that you voted for is a moron.
He said it in the first debate back in 2016. Do you know what he said?
What did he say?
He said what we should do that the government doesn't want to do. It goes, we should put it on the open market and let the market decide.
Where's the plan?
That's all it is. But these guys won't vote for it because it puts money into the government's pocket.
You're wrong.
What are you talking about? It collects more taxes.
He hasn't presented a plan to the American people in 10 years.
Ian, what do we do?
He said in his first debate.
I'm having the time of my life, dude. I want to go another hour. We're not in a rush.
So you're talking about, why do he give him the health care? He had nothing to do with them voting here.
Okay, wait.
The free market is the plan. You sit there, you go, put him on more government programs. We literally have watched communities go to the crap because of these government programs. And you're screaming for more of it? Are you insane? The first big government program destroyed the black family. But you want more of that? You want them to sit there and go get soda?
Medicaid Medicaid destroys the black family? What the hell are you talking about?
Are you listening?
I'm
The first
trying to.
government program that they were given, which was called the welfare program, homie, that destroyed the black family. That's what
Welfare-
we're seeing right
Okay,
now.
so by the way,
That's what
there's a
we're
lot of
seeing. And then
people
you
that
want to give these obese
right,
individuals
so
who have lower education
first of all,
more crap
yeah, those
food,
are the people who voted for
more
Donald Trump.
More
Low
crap
education.
food.
I agree.
The black community voted for Donald Trump at an 85%.
No, I think-
85%,
Yeah,
dude.
I understand
85%.
that.
And they're in the
understand that.
squalor. They're at the bottom of the barrel.
But
They
again,
decided to
you're
partner
saying-
up with the
you're
left.
This is the classic white leftist who has never experienced these sorts of policies coming in contact with a black conservative who grew up around these destructive policies. And you can see how incredulously Brian reacts when he's faced with the reality that these policies don't create the outcomes they promise to make. Leftists love to bury their head in the sand about this topic, but there's actually been a ton of extensive research done discussing incentive structures around welfare. Economists like Thomas Sowell and Charles Murray have demonstrated that many welfare policies unintentionally discourage things like marriage and work. These two are major contributing factors to what many dub the destruction of the black family. Some people will cite the war on drugs too, and yeah, maybe to an extent, but why did a lot of black folks turn to selling drugs? Would it possibly be a way to work under the table to hide your income so you can still qualify for welfare programs? Possibly. I love it when leftists are faced with this reality. They literally can't handle a black conservative telling them that, no, your leftist policy doesn't work. They're like, well, of course it works. We're trying to help you. Like, no, you're not helping. You just like to think that you're helping. And this really cuts to the heart of the problem, folks, is that people don't want to actually help. They just want to feel like they're helping. That mindset is so pervasive amongst leftists. It's sickening. So besides the obvious partisan divide, the clear divide with these two was outcomes versus policy intentions. To a leftist like Brian Shapiro, the intention matters. What makes me feel good? But to someone like Siaka, who grew up in the black community and understands the harmful outcomes of those intentions, the outcomes matter because they're actually tangible and they're what make a difference in the lives of everyday Americans who are struggling. But to recap, this was yet another example of Brian's terrible argumentative style. He constantly throws out red herrings about Trump, dodges the question, he fails to engage arguments, he's constantly appealing to emotion and doing his typical moral grandstanding. And the sad thing is that I've been listening to this guy debate and go on these shows for, God, at least a year, and his policy positions have not evolved. I just don't think he has the necessary IQ to have that higher level analytical thinking. You know, the kind that I pretend to have. Anyways, guys, those are just my thoughts. I thought this was a really good debate, and the full debate is about an hour and a half. Real big props to Tim Pool for putting this on his show. If you're not already subscribed to Timcast IRL, go hit him up, give him a sub, show him some love. He's put in a lot of good work over the years. That's it for me, guys. One heads up, I'm not sure about the Friday upload. I'm still going to be on vacation for most of this week, so I'll try to get to it if I can. But if not, I'll probably post some other clips from a previous debate so you guys can have something to sink your teeth into. But that's all for me today, guys. So thanks for watching and have a good night.
Are you looking for more content like this? Hit that subscribe button and check out the link on screen. Come on, you know you want to do it.